Hey guys, Steve and Josh here again. We wanted to talk to you today about some really interesting studies. We engaged a consultant recently to evaluate carbon footprints of some of our packaging and the other environmental aspects, because we're really passionate about that here at WellTrade.
Yeah, so it's all about your greenhouse gases, and with that there's different types of packaging that produces more greenhouse gas than other types of packaging. And I know we normally talk about, the recyclability of packaging, if it's bioplastic, if it's this and that, but it's also important to look before it's actually produced what effect that has on an environment as well. So that's what all this video is about. But before we jump into the stats, we thought we'd just touch on quickly what fossil fuel consumption is, what is a greenhouse gas, and those type of terms, so you're a bit more familiar before we jump straight into it. So I guess the first question is what is fossil fuel consumption? So fossil fuel consumption is actually the burning of your coal and your oils that produce energy. And then the output of that energy is what we refer to your fossil fuel consumption, which is generally measured in megajoules or joules.
Yeah, and then when we look at carbon emissions is the amount of carbon or CO2, carbon dioxide, that is used or expelled into the atmosphere when we're using those fossil fuels. Is that right?
That's correct.
Cool.
All right, guys, so yeah, we're going to jump in straight here. We've hired an independent researcher that conducted studies across a whole range of different styles of packaging, from your plastic bottles to glass to beverage cartons, and then they compared the environmental impact of each of these containers. So we're going to start with our 500 ml capacity. Like I said, in our plastic bottles, beverage carton, aluminium can, and glass bottle, and then the relative weights for that as well. So Steve, we get stuck into it.
Yeah, so we did, as Josh just said, we checked all those packaging. We looked at what standard weights would be. So for example, the weight for I'll pick the first one and you can see the rest, but the weight for the bio bottle, rPET bottle, we're based at around a 21 gram bottle for a standard. And then we took the measurements from a beverage carton at 29, from a glass bottle, which for a 500 ml glass bottle, we took the average of 300 grams, okay? Carbon emissions, I'll cover that, is carbon emissions based on this bottle at 21 grams, we have an 18.2 grams of carbon CO2 expelled into the atmosphere, or the equivalent of CO2 expelled into the atmosphere.
Yeah, and then as you can see here, the PET bottles, 18.2, 21.4, 33.1. But then for your glass bottles, for example, because it's so heavy and it takes so much to produce, it's 538.2 grams of CO2 equivalent into the atmosphere, is quite high, even with the aluminium cans as well, compared to what you can get with a PET bottle.
It's really important to show this because a lot of people think, or a lot of people would assume that glass bottles are great. And they are, and they recycle. However, they do consume a lot of CO2. And we'll also see about the fossil fuels in a minute. But we're trying to show the relativity of a 500 ml container.
Yeah, I guess next is our fossil fuel consumption. Like I mentioned before, so this is the burning of your coals and oils. So your PET bottles are generally quite low, or your recycled PET and your biodegradable PET, 1.99. Then you got your aluminium can and glass bottle, which is on the higher spectrum as well. So obviously the lower the better, which is why we generally are recommending our rPET recycled PET bottles. And
just again, to step back, the normal PET bottle, the standard bottle that you'd see, maybe whoever brand is out there, we won't knock any brands, the standard PET bottle that hasn't been recycled is 3.99. However, because this is heavily discounted because it was previously that and then recycled back to an rPET, which is 100% recycled.
That's correct. And in terms of the term recyclable, it's also important to measure what packaging is recyclable. So as you can see here down at the bottom, all our PET range here, they're all fully recyclable bottles and will get reused. Aluminium cans and glass is recyclable as well, even though it's not as good with your carbon emissions up here, it is recyclable. But then what is not is your beverage carton. That is due because it is a laminate. They might try and trick you and say, yes, that's made of recyclable materials, but once it's combined in a laminate, it won't actually be recycled in your standard curbside.
Yeah, and if you check your local government recycling information, they will tell you that. So, and then finally, I know we've got one tick here on the biodegradable in landfill. So again, we like to educate you on biodegradable in landfill. The bottle, which is biodegradable, and rPET will biodegrade in landfill. none of these other ones will break down in a landfill situation.
Alrighty guys, well yeah, I hope that helps clear things up in terms of greenhouse gases and carbon emissions. This will be directly on our website, which you can have a look at and check it out. Flick us through any questions if you have got any. You know, we are here to help you guys, and we are here to help you pick the most sustainable packaging for your range. And that's what we're all about, as you can see at Well-Trade Packaging.
Yeah. So thanks again. Hopefully we've helped you with it. Hopefully we haven't made more confusion. We tried to make it as clear as we could. But any questions, please give us a call. Our team would love to help. Have a great day, and we'll talk to you next month. See ya.